this licensing hearing panel. Can I please elect a chairperson? Thank you very much. Councillor Brown, you're the chairperson. Thank you.
Thank you, Clerk. Have we got any apologies for absence? No apologies for absence. May I sign the record of the meeting, the last meeting, as true and accurate record, please?
Agreed.
Agreed. I haven't got any urgent matters. Are there any urgent matters for this group? No urgent matters. Thank you. Now we come to the declaration of interest and any pecuniary or significant interest in the first case, please, that's ahead of us?
None.
None. We also want to take the declarations for the second item that's in front of us. Are there any declarations of interest for that? Anybody?
None.
None. Thank you very much. Councillor Kemp, as fourth member, you're free to go because we've done the declarations for both.
With a sense of regret and a heavy heart, thank you.
I love your sense of humour. Thank you. Good morning. I'm going to do some introductions and ask others to introduce themselves. I'm Councillor Hazel Brown and I'm chairing this panel.
I'm Councillor Rumsand, thank you.
I'm Julie Francis Beard, the clerk to the licensing hearing panel.
I'm Kyle Rogers, legal advisor to the panel.
I'm Katie Honeywood, assistant licensing manager.
Good morning.
And I'm Councillor Van Dyke and I'm a ward councillor for Strood North, where the establishment is located.
I'm Councillor Joanne Howcroft-Scott.
Thank you, everybody. We now move on to the application and I will ask the licensing officer, or our assistant licensing manager, sorry, Katie, to introduce the item for us.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning. On the 10th of April 2025, we received a new premises licence application for Oceanic Eats X Amala Buka, 1A Cuxton Road, Strood. An appendix of the Communicative Impact Assessment called Chatham Town Centre can be found as Appendix A of this report. It is attached for information as the premises is located within this designated area. This can be found on pages 11 to 14. This application is for the sale by retail of alcohol for on and off sales and late night refreshment daily for 24 hours and recorded and live music Friday and Saturday between 11 p.m. to 3 a.m. and Sunday between 11 p.m. and 1 a.m. The application includes the operating schedule which details the conditions the applicant is offering to promote the licensing objectives. A copy of the application and the proposed conditions and plan can be found at Appendix B on pages 15 to 31. During the consultation period, we received a representation from 3 ward councillors on the 24th of April. This was in relation to 3 of the licensing objectives: the prevention of crime and disorder, public safety and the prevention of public nuisance. This can be found at Appendix C on pages 33 to 35. Agreements were made with Kent Police on the 6th of May. This included amended timings. The premises will be closed to members of public after 1 a.m. Sunday to Friday and after 3 a.m. Friday to Sunday, and will remain open for delivery service only. Additional conditions were also agreed. These amendments can be found at Appendix D on pages 37 to 41. It is for the panel to decide on the appropriate action for this application, taking into account all the evidence brought to your attention, both written and oral, alongside the Licensing Act 2003 and its associated guidance. The panel can decide to grant the licences applied for, amend the application, for example, changing the hours, add or amend conditions, refuse the application. Thank you.
Thank you, Katie. The applicant can now speak in support of their application.
Yeah. Good morning. I agree with everything Katie Honeywood has said. Have met with the police and we've agreed on all the items she's read out. Amendment on the timings, making sure that the CCTV, not allowing eating after 1 a.m. Sunday to Friday, but takeaways after between 1 and 3 a.m. Putting on sign that the premises is closed, making sure that making sure that I keep to the challenge 25. Putting on sign that the premises is closed to the general public, and so on and so forth. So I am happy with what the police has agreed with me, and hopefully you agree the same. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we come to the objector to ask the applicant and the teams any questions that they've got. So Zoe, it's over to you.
Okay, thank you. First of all, I'd like to say we welcome the introduction of your establishment into Strood North. It broadens the offer to the people of Strood. So we're not objecting to the opening of your establishment per se, but it's about the hours of opening. And the hours that you're intending to be open are in excess of any of the other eating establishments in Strood, which potentially leads to quite an influx of people because you're the only establishment open. And I wonder if we could look at the photograph that... So your establishment is there on the left-hand side. You'll see that this is quite a significant junction here, with traffic. I mean, perhaps in the early hours of the morning, not so much, but it's certainly a well-used road and junction. And the concern here is about health and safety. It's inevitable that as your opening hours are longer than other restaurants in the area, to a considerable degree, that you will attract more customers to your establishment. And the concern is that people will come there. You've got a very narrow pathway along the side of a very busy and significant junction there. So one of our concerns is health and safety in terms of that road junction. And the other one is the extent of your opening hours potentially causing noise pollution for local residents. So it's not the fact that you've opened your restaurant, but it's the opening hours specifically and the timings of those opening hours at that particular location.
As an objector, you need to question her. You made statements, you haven't made any questions. You need to ask the applicant questions.
Thank you. Yes. So, first of all, have you considered any processes to put in place to deal with the potential for antisocial behaviour at unusual hours of the day, so in the night time when you're open?
So just like, that's one of the reasons why the police came to me. So we've made an agreement that security should be at the door as per necessary, and making sure the CCTV is at the premises, not selling alcohol to somebody under the age of 25, making sure that alcohol being bought is not over the amount of meals being purchased. So, and also making sure that after a certain hour, that alcohol is being sold not to someone waiting outside, but obviously to the delivery driver, taking it to a fixed address. So, and also selling using discretion and making sure that myself and my staffs are, responsible and, selling to the general public, putting children, adults, everybody into consideration, not selling to a drunk person. This is not my first license. I've held one previously, and I've never breached my agreement. I've always put everyone into consideration and always practice safe selling. Thank you.
Appreciate that. Have you considered the possible risks associated with the actual location of your restaurant in terms of the junction that we've looked at on the photograph? Did you want to look at it again? You know where it is, yes.
So when you say risks, are you saying in terms of people coming in and going out, or pedestrians walking into the customers, or I'm not quite sure if you can expatiate on the risk based on the location, please?
So I wonder if you could describe the area that your customers will come in, and how many people you can accommodate in front of house at any one time, given the limited area outside of your restaurant, if there were queues or if there's an accumulation of visitors there.
Right, so as you can see, the entrance is just by the sign. So in there I could have a maximum of 16 people or less. So it is a takeaway restaurant that offered seating for customers that wish to sit in. So in terms of queue, I could have customers seated in there waiting for the food to be takeaway. It's not the biggest place taken for the takeaway, and I could have customers who's chosen to sit and just to eat their food for a few minutes. So I don't personally see queues, people queuing outside of the restaurant, because while you're waiting for your takeaway, I've got tables and chairs for you to sit. So it's not a premises where you can sit for the next 1 hour. It's just for you to eat your food and literally just leave. And also when the drivers come into the premises, there is a seat for them to come in and sit down. And by the time the driver gets into the premises, the food is ready to be picked up and gone to the customer, because the driver will not turn up from Uber Eats unless we notify that the food is ready. So half of the time the food is ready, just waiting for the driver to pick it up. So, and for the driver to pick it up, he needs to come into the restaurant, pick it up and leave. So I've got car park just by the Aludora African store is my store as well. The second store is just by where the Vine is. There is a car park there. There is a car park just across by the Shell station. So, and yeah, I can always give notification to the driver to, if it gets too busy in the restaurant, I can put a notice outside to stay at the Aludora African store, which is the shop next to the Demanji that is with the white sign. I sell raw African food just there, to wait there for the food to be ready, and then I can drop it for them. So I've made arrangements, to make sure that everybody is safe and it's convenient for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I hadn't realised that you were able to use the parking there for customers that are coming there. I think my question is really about attracting people to the location because it's open at times that nowhere else is open, and the potential for antisocial behaviour arising as a consequence of that because of your opening hours being extended. And you do have the opportunity to do deliveries as well.
So I've previously run the same establishment just about 5 minutes away, Rochester High Street, 365, and I close at 1 a.m. So, and I still have, my customers are quite responsible because I sell Nigerian food, usually adults that come in, pick up the food, you know, and go. So, I've got people ringing at odd hours for food because it's just returned from work and stuff like that. So generally from my experience, and if you look into my previous licensing, I've always had very mature and responsible customers. So I've never had any antisocial behavior in regards to my customers to the general public. So, yeah.
So my final question is really, you've talked about the customers that will be coming to you and obviously buying food and then going away again. But given that your opening hours are more extensive than anywhere else in the area, what consideration have you given to the potential for antisocial behaviour for people coming to your establishment who aren't your customers?
So one of the considerations that I've given was when the police came into the property, and we had an agreement that between Sundays and Friday, I shut for. I can no longer admit customers into the premises after 1 a.m. Yeah.
And that's... Sorry, that's when?
Sorry? Sundays to Friday.
Sunday to Friday.
Yes.
So on Saturdays it's different, is it?
So, sorry, I'm just looking at my notes. My printer stopped working, so I was going to print. So, Sundays to Friday after 1 so Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I can no longer admit customers onto the premises after 1 a.m. Then Fridays to Sunday, I can open to 3 a.m. serving just delivery on the premises. So just drivers, Uber Eats driver, delivery, just it's picking up the food and delivering to customers' premises. And I have to display a closed sign, and then I have to have 2 people on the premises. CCTV have to be working. I'm not allowed to serve alcohol to people standing outside of the premises. So whatever is being sold in regards to alcohol and food has to be taken to a designated address after 1 a.m.
So you will have customers eating in your restaurant?
No,
No, so it's just a takeaway?
just a takeaway.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So that will be after 1 a.m., just a takeaway. So I will be physically close to customers, but would let drivers come in as per, to pick up the takeaway and take it to a designated address.
And your drivers will be able to park in the area just along from there?
Yeah, there are free parks. So I've got. Sorry. So there are free parking. So I've got the Cuxton Road MOT parking. Drivers can park there. Near the gun lane, the street across, there is parking. The Shell petrol station itself, there is parking. The street before Shell petrol station, there is parking. So, and the street across, which is towards the Gun Lane Hospital near Quick Fit, there is free street parking. So, yes, there are parkings around.
I've just got one more question.
Sure.
And that is that, again, I think you've put some measures in place, but how would you propose to deal with antisocial behaviour if that were to arise around the area of your premises?
So I would have CCTV in place just to make sure that everything is captured, should in case there is a need to provide evidence for the responsible authorities as requested for it, and also make sure that if I suspect anything, police are called in the first instance, and making sure that I do not tolerate such behavior. So when I see someone acting silly, I'll walk up to them, speak with them and say, can you please, consider the neighbors and, just make sure that the premises is clear as much as possible. Make sure that my customers understand that we will not tolerate indecent behavior or antisocial behavior, and situations where I or my staff cannot personally handle ourselves will alert the police at the first instance.
Okay, so that kind of gives rise to another question, and that's about your own health and safety, really, whilst you're operating during those hours. How many staff will you have?
So I've agreed with the police to make sure that after, when in night time, there is 2 staffs on site if we're open. So it would usually be me and someone. If it's busy, it would be 3 or more of us. So, but minimum of 2 staffs on site. You're welcome.
Thank you for that. Now it's the turn of the panel to ask you some questions. So I'll invite Councillor Hawker-Scott to start that process.
Good morning. Thank you for your application, which I'm looking in front of me. I've just Googled some of the restaurants near you. Now, on that corner is Papa John's, but down from your restaurant there are some residential areas, including some flats, and then there's an Indian restaurant on the corner. So I've Googled their hours of operation, and then that way we've got Domino's Pizza, a Thai restaurant and jerk chicken, and I've Googled their hours of operation because I've looked at your licence planning to come here, and you're asking to be open. I want to be open 24 hours every day of the year. Can you clarify that's correct?
Yeah, that was the initial application.
That was and now you've agreed to close at 3 a.m.
Yes, based on my meeting with the police officer and quite a few of them.
Okay, thank you. And then I'm looking at, I should have marked it. I usually use post-it notes, but I was on the train. Sorry, just bear with me. I apologise, panel. Oh, here we are. Page 22. I want to be able to record music and live music on the following days, which are festive season. So Easter Monday, so that's Bank Holiday Monday, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Is there any variation in that since talking to the police?
No.
Okay, thank you. Christmas Day, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. still stands. And December 26, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. So that still stands.
Yeah.
So as it's a kind of semi-residential area and every other restaurant or food establishment closes sort of 10-ish, 11-ish, the latest, can your business model not operate in those reasonable hours where people are living? Opposite Papa John's there's housing, down between you and the Indian on the corner, there's housing, there's flats, there's homes opposite.
The initial plan was just to be able to cater for everybody's need in regards to, you know, having people working late, coming back from work, just offering something different, not necessarily to cause nuisance or inconvenience to anyone. So hence the reason why I made it clear to the police that events is not on a regular basis, it's just as per when needed. And I intended to notify my neighbors to let them know in advance that I would be having such and so event from this time to this time on this day. If you have any queries, you can always get in touch with me. And in regards to 7 food late, it's just to bring something new to Kent and just offer the community something different, just to be able to cater for everybody's need, really.
Okay, thank you. One more question. As a council, we do have an enforcement officer, and they do things like noise abatement. And if obviously you're having these parties, people might object to that. So what would you do to alleviate that, do you think?
Well, if my neighbors object to my party, what can I possibly do? Because they're my neighbors, I can't get rid of them. So if I notify them that I intend to do this and we cannot come to a certain agreement, then I will not be able to do what I need to do because they're my neighbors and their opinion counts. So.
Okay, and finally, it doesn't make sense to me, if you've only got a small area, how can you party? That, I just think, if you can only sit down a few people and it's mainly a takeaway, where's the party going to be? In the garden at the back?
So it's not a party per se, it's more or less like people booking in, saying they want to have a small birthdays or like graduation, I don't know what they want to do. So they would book in advance, they would let me know. I will know the numbers of people, I will let them know the numbers of table that I have available to cater for them.
Okay, that doesn't give me the clarity I needed. I'm a bit confused, Chair. Have you contacted any of the residents locally, and have you made arrangements with Shell Garage? Because obviously Shell has a lot of highly inflammable petrols and diesels and things, and I know it has the 2 bays, aren't there, for people that go in and buy something from the shop. So have you made arrangements with the Shell Garage, Quick Fit and Halfords or whoever else you're proposing your drivers are parking? Because obviously we've got a lot of, because as Councillor Van Dijk's already indicated, it's quite a busy junction. It's the old A2, and if there's, if anything goes wrong in Medway, it can be a real traffic hotspot. If anything's going on the motorway, it's like a bottleneck. So have you made pre-arrangements for parking?
So with the MOT garage just by my side, I've spoken with them. Like I said to you, I own the African store, the other African store with the white. So I've spoken with them, and my customers park at the MOT garage. They're allowed to park there. So when I've had customers that's parked in Shell, they've spoken to the Shell saying, can I just park and just pick something from the African store? And I don't have period arrangements with Halfords or Quick Fit because the parking I'm talking about is not on their premises. It's the free parking on the road by the premises.
It's double yellow lines. I know that because I'm disabled.
No.
Oh, you mean so they'll walk up from the Indian that way by the Conservative Club? They'll walk up. Okay.
Yeah. So there's free parking, and near Tesco's, just down the road, Just where the white van is, there is a Tesco there. Is 2 hours free, parking, and the street on that side is which is just like 2 minutes walk to us, is free parking as well. There, the streets. So there are about 2 streets on that side.
Yeah, well, Smith Street and around Tesco's, there's a quite a one-way system,
Yeah.
and because those streets were built for horse and carts, they're very, very narrow. And when I worked during the election for the MP, Lauren Edwards, people's main complaint along there was inadequate means for parking. So that's another concern for myself, really. But thank you.
You're welcome. So, I've tried in regards to parking. I've spoken with the MOT garage so my customers can park there. And Astor's as well, it's got parking on that, on the other side as well, which I've had my customers use and walk down and said, I've parked in Astor, and so, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, Asda does 3 parking for an hour and a half,
Yeah.
doesn't it? Yeah. Okay.
And there is Lido near Astor as well.
So how many parking spaces are on the MOT front, would you say?
On the MOT front, I believe like between 10 and 15 parkings. Yeah, or even more, depending on how big the the car is, because that's where I park as well sometimes. Yeah.
So what would you do if your drivers came and it was hot and they had their music on loud and they were parking?
You mean my drivers?
Or the drivers that are picking up food? How would you address that issue of noise embankment for the people? Would you be able to address anything for that?
Yeah, the drivers are quite polite people. When you speak with them, bring the notice to, issues they do idea. So I will speak to them and say, just because of the neighbors, can you please, put your music down next time? And I can always notify Uber Eats as well to raise my concerns, and they can enforce that more to the drivers. And I know the drivers by name. When they come in, you see their names and the numbers, so I can always put up complaint or let them know about a particular driver that I've spoken to that hasn't listened. If they can speak to the driver on my behalf and things like that.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair. That's all my questions. Exhausted.
Thank you for coming. Councillor Howcroft-Scott asked a lot of the questions I had. Your small outside space, I'm looking at the drawing you did. Are there any tables out there? On the back of the restaurant, you've got a small outside space. Garden,
Yeah, the
courtyard.
courtyard.
Will there be tables there?
No, not for now. So I was thinking of, because it's small, it's a courtyard, so I was thinking of using it as a storage, so, or smoking area for whoever's eating.
Well, I was
it.
going to ask that because in your drawing, you've got no smoking. And
Yeah, the police pointed that out, so that's the reason why I had changed my mind. So, they advised me I can use it as a smoking area.
Right, so, because the fear I've got is that if you haven't got a smoking area at the back, would mean people have to come out the front of the shop to smoke. Now, I drive past that shop probably 4 times a week. Last Friday, I actually walked past the shop. Unusual for me to walk anywhere, to be honest. But I did walk past, and I came across a lady with a pushchair. That is very narrow there. And if you've got anybody hanging around your door, that's going to put people at risk of walking in that road. Yeah. And that's a very busy junction. And your door is right by the traffic lights, isn't it?
Yeah.
So unless we look up there, we're not going to see where the traffic's coming. That's my major concern on that. And another concern I've got, and I'm sure you've checked this out, but I will ask it anyway. There's only one fire exit, isn't there?
Yeah.
So, if anybody's out, if the fire's at the front of the building,
God forbid.
No, there's nowhere for them to get out. That's my point. And I'm sure you thought of that.
Yeah.
But that's the first thing. That's one of the first things that struck me. And the second thing, I don't like talking about this in public meetings, but your toilet, is it just one singular toilet? Is it a toilet for mixed use? How do you see that?
Yes, so one single toilet for male and female.
Disabled friendly? No.
I believe it's got a little. Not. They will need help. So yeah.
Okay, that's good. Something else you said that intrigued me. You said that people will just eat their food and leave. That being the case, why do you need so many long hours? Is it? I mean, it looked predominantly to me that this is a takeaway operation, but you're throwing in a few tables just in case.
Yeah, just in case.
Yeah. So, I mean, I would have preferred it to be done as a takeaway application, personally. I think that's all I've got to say. Councillor Howcock Scott did it, but I have major concerns about the outside of that shop on that junction. Thank you.
My turn. Now, you met with public health and the police.
Yeah.
What did public health ask from you? Did you meet on the premises?
Yes.
Were public health happy with the premises?
Yes.
Okay. Now, there was talk in the email from PC Smuts that you were getting a new window, and there was talk about that. I mean, and there was also talk about deadening the noise.
Yeah.
How are the plans for that coming along, and when will the installations happen?
So I've just the gentleman working in the premises is just about to finish his job, and then he's putting me forward, recommending the company to me. So they have to come over and do the measurements, and then after doing the measurement, they need to place an order for it and then get it fixed. But other works are still ongoing at the moment.
Thank you. Now, rightly, you mentioned that you had held a previous license at a previous premises. Are you intending to operate both premises?
No, the other premises is closed. Hence, I've moved here.
Excellent. So now we come on to the designated, the supervisor's license. You're going to hold that personally?
Yes, I've got that.
You've got it. The training, you didn't mention when Councillor Van Dyke asked about the sort of training that you intend to have for your staff.
Sorry, I missed that. I don't think I heard it. So I've agreed with the police and the public health to make sure that I have a training book on site. So to train them initially and, provide proof for the initial training, and to update the training on an annual basis, and to record any incidents into the accident and training record book.
Right. This is in a stress area, and we made some recommendations as a council as to what hours would be acceptable within the area. When you spoke with the council officer and the police, were you aware of that? Were you aware of our suggested operational hours are from 9 till 11 in the evening for that area? You weren't aware of that?
No, I wasn't.
Police weren't either, obviously. I remember when you came before about the one in Rochester, you were of the impression then that you needed to be open till 3 a.m. But when you met with the committee, it turned out that you thought you needed to be open till 3 because you were clearing up. Is that right?
With that one, so when we said 3 a.m., not necessarily operating till 3 a.m. because we need to tidy up, clean up around the premises, but we hope to have left by that particular time.
Why do you think you need now to be open till 3 a.m. at this, what I would call a very small operation? And you're looking to be open till 1 a.m. and 3 a.m. Now, it is really helpful that you're bringing this to Strood. Really, that is helpful. But I do question the business thinking behind that, and I'd like to understand a little bit more of that. How many jobs do you think you're going to create by staying open that late? And I know you can work very hard yourself, I know that, but you can't do everything yourself. So I'd like you to explore with us a little bit more about your business model and why you think being available till 3 a.m. is actually something that this committee would want to happen, given that we've talked about traffic, personal safety, health, antisocial behaviour, and the problems of the area. Now, I just want you to think about this and maybe talk us through, help us to understand a little bit more about the business model that you are trying to introduce here. Because I'm confused. It started off 24 hours. It's now down to closed to the public, closed to on-site sales at 1 o'clock, but still open till various hours. And I'm still not that clear about when you do off sales and when you do on sales only. And on sales, you said it was a takeaway, but there are 16 tables. You want to have private parties. I need to understand a little bit more about that. If you were doing those, why would you not just apply for temporary event licenses for those? Not just, I understand from a business point of view that takes time, but just for the committee's concerns, just to talk through the business case, if you wouldn't mind.
Sure. Thank you for your time, everybody. I went to London, I think around December, around Edgware Road. So I saw a couple of, restaurants open, very late, and I saw people eating. I had food there as well, and I felt we could bring this type of grace to Kent, because I'm from Kent, and usually after 1 a.m. or so, there is nothing more. And apart from few kebab shop, so I already closed down the other premises because there wasn't, building issues there. So I was like, I could implement the same thing. So I don't know how to cook kebab or whatever other meals. I can only do African food, and I felt, and I've known other nationalities that eat our food as well, and I felt it would be a good idea to bring such to, to the community, as everyone would be happy. It would be something new and something different. So that was the intention about it. And so when yes, it's a small place because that's the place that I could, get at the moment. So the intention was a little eating and, predominantly takeaway, just an opportunity for someone that wants to see and, eat quickly and leave. So, and when the police came over with the health and safety, we spoke about it, and they laid their concerns, and they suggested, what if you close to the general public coming into the rest, if they want to eat in, just like you said, at 1 a.m., and we allow you sell your takeaway to the delivery drivers till about 3 a.m., are you going to be happy with that? And I was like, based on the concerns they've raised, I'm a responsible and reasonable member of the society. I want to keep to the law and at the same time be able to run my business. I agreed. So, yeah.
So now we've got an intention, and we've got a discussion with the police and public health, which I don't see any records from. But I'm trying to understand the business model, the model that says you need to be open from, I don't know what your opening hours are going to be, but it started off being 24 hours. It's gone back down to closing at 3 a.m. I presume that you've done some kind of market research as to how many pickups will need to be happening between 1 a.m. and 3 a.m. to make this a viable restaurant at those hours. And I'm trying to understand the business case behind it that gives us the concern for raising antisocial behaviour, because at the moment I am really concerned about the rise in antisocial behaviour, not because of your restaurant, but the general rise in it overall and the health and safety implications. You did mention about 2 staff, so you're going to have 2 staff on till 1 o'clock in the morning until 3 o'clock in the morning. And I just wanted to explore with that how you see that working, and have you had experience of that when you did this previously? You say you closed down the other restaurant because of the building issues, but you must have some experience of this. And I'm raising this because Councillor Van Dijk did talk about your own personal safety.
Yes, like I said, I closed pretty late in the previous premises, so I do have an experience in that situation. So, and in situations where, sorry? Yes, so like we shot at 1, and cleaning up and things like that. Sometimes we're still there 2:30, and then we leave. So I'm never alone on the premises. We're always 2 or 3 people or more, because it gets so busy. So, but the initial business model and plan that I had was just to bring something new into Kent, to be able to offer something different, and to be able to cater for people that wish to eat out late. So, the reason why you're here, the reason why everybody is here is for everybody's safety, and to make sure that we're all doing the right thing and everyone is safe. So if I'm not a one-sided person, if I'm thinking this would work and I have 2, 3 people to say this is not, the best idea, I'm more than willing and happy to to adjust. But it was just an idea that I saw in London that I felt it's okay, it's nice, and we could bring such enjoyment to Kent.
Just very quickly, can you just go through the 4 licensing objectives with us and just remind us of how you're addressing each of those, if you don't mind?
Sure. So I don't know if I remember it by heart. So I'm guessing the first one is public safety, which is making sure that everyone is safe, including my staff. There is CCTV on the premises. There is enough records for everything that goes on the premises to be able to make it readily and available for the necessary authority that asks for it. And then I believe the second one is child prevention of harm.
The protection of children from harm.
Yes. Yes. So, making sure that all children are safe on the premises, there is no indecent behavior towards children or anybody, and children are not exposed to what they are not supposed to be exposed to, and making sure that there is the CCTV is working and available for necessary authorities that needs it, and make sure that I don't have children on the premises late hours, because they shouldn't be there, and all children are accompanied by an adult. Children under the age of 18 accompanied by an adult, and I don't see any reason why an adult should bring a child at 3 a.m. or whatsoever. I would question that. And I believe the third one is public nuisance, noise, and making sure that there are visible signs to notify my customers to turn down the noise once they come out of the premises to consider the neighbours. And music, if there are no events going on, music are turned down, there is no noise, the doors are shut, all the time, making sure that all the rubbish dumped on the floor by my customers are picked up and cleared before the next morning and before closing up. And I cannot remember the fourth one. Crime. Prevention and crime and disorder, making sure that I have records on site to record any incidents, both major and unmajor incidents, making sure that all incidents are reported to the police at, for instance, 999, I think is 111, or reported online as per required. And CCTV is available in working and making sure that if there is any fault with the CCTV, is reported to the police at the first instance and is recorded in the book, making sure that the recording is available for the police or the licensing team or the council when they request for it, and it should be kept for, I believe, a minimum of 31 days. Yeah.
Just a little bit of exploration around the music. Are your intentions to have just sort of background music, or are you going to have, if you have these events which you are proposing to have on specific days, are you having events every weekend, or is it only the ones listed on the dates that Councillor Hawcroft-Scott asked? I'm a bit confused by that.
So just a bit of background music for when customers are eating, just a bit, or, just little background music. An event for when people call in and say, oh, can I have 7-10 people for my birthday in here, just once as per needed for customers. But I do know from experience that during the Easter holidays, bank holidays, Boxing Day and festive season generally, people might want to do things. And I requested for those days, because of my previous license, I could do live shows every other weekend, but I never included those. So I don't intend to do live shows or parties every time, just when my customers request.
And just for clarity, the maximum number of people seated within your restaurant through health and safety, fire risk and various other things has been established with the fire authority and our people.
Yes.
At a maximum of 16 people seated.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Just for the record, thank you. That's all my questions, and sorry if this went on a little bit longer, but I really wanted to try and understand everything from your point of view. Thank you.
No, I really do understand, and I appreciate for giving me the time. And I do understand that public safety have to put, and my safety and everybody's safety, so I appreciate it.
It's now the opportunity for the applicant to sum up, or the objector first. Well, it's written applicant and objectors. Sorry. Oh, I've skipped, sorry. If I can go back to Councillor Van Dijk, please.
I'm still concerned because of the location of your restaurant in terms of potential antisocial behaviour during these early morning hours, and the proximity to what possibly isn't such a busy road at 1 o'clock in the morning, but still, nevertheless, it's potentially a dangerous situation there. And I guess I don't understand why you can't rely more on takeaway deliveries for those early morning hours. Why you need the restaurant to be open in the early hours of the morning, particularly given the site. which I think is potentially dangerous for pedestrians who are coming in and out of your restaurant.
So hence the reason why the police and the safety...
Sorry, you get an opportunity to ask questions in a minute.
Oh,
She'll finish what she's saying.
Okay.
oh, okay.
Okay. And the other key consideration is the fact that you're having live music in there, in the restaurant, loud music, from 1 o'clock in the morning onwards, and that this could be of detrimental effect to the residents of this area. Thank you.
Applicant. Yeah. The applicant asks the objector questions, please. If you've got questions for Councillor Van Dyke.
Oh, sorry about that. She was asking a question. I didn't know she was still speaking. So, hence the reason the police suggested not to admit customers into the premises after 1 a.m., but between that 1 a.m. and 3 a.m., just takeaways only, you know, which is usually online from Uber Eats, Deliveroo, and Just Eat. You know, in regards to the hours that you've spoken about. And in regards to the noise, I totally understand because I'm a neighbor somewhere else as well. And, you know, I don't want to be an absolute nuisance to the community. Hence the reason why we spoke about the glass, which is, I think it's called acoustic, sorry, pardon my language. I think it's called acoustic mirror that deadens, you know, the noise. And the event is not every day and it's not all the time. It's just as per when I have a need for it. But definitely I intend to have a little background noise, you know, background music, you know, from YouTube or something, just playing. That's just it.
The limitation of noise is a good thing. I guess of more concern is not necessarily your customers, but the people that will accumulate outside of your business during your opening hours, causing antisocial behaviour. And is that something that you would? How would you address that?
I mean, the best I could do is to make sure that I do not permit anyone standing and lingering about, which I would make, you know, train my staff, you know, to say, you know, and how to approach customers and let people know that can you please not linger about. We have to consider the pedestrians, we have to consider the general public, and in the situations where individuals or customers are not listening or causing antisocial behavior, we alert the necessary authorities, which is usually the police. So.
Any more questions for Councillor Van Dyke?
No.
I'll ask the panel if they have any questions for Councillor Van Dyke. I've got a couple. When councillors were representing residents, the concerns were the traffic, the noise, and the hours. Is that the three? Obviously, antisocial behaviour is a problem all over the place, and each individual business doing what they can about that. But what I'm trying to get to is we've had an intervention from the police, and the applicant is conversant with the rules around being a licence holder. They are a DPS already. when considering this, were you looking to the hours within the stress area, or were you looking towards other hours, or was that just open and left to the committee?
The hours that were of concern were the hours that the establishment is open when other businesses aren't. So it's the likelihood of people converging on the area because it's open and nowhere else is.
Okay, thanks.
Can I say something? No, okay. All right.
Okay, it's now time for the summing up from the objectors, please. If you've got anything further to add or to ask.
Okay. I think I've covered most of it, but I think as well we're aware that you are providing a service, a delivery service as well. So I don't understand why in those hours beyond the opening hours of other establishments, you can't rely on the delivery service for your customers. That's all I wanted to ask.
Thank you for the comment. Now it's the turn of the applicant to do their summing up.
Yeah, it wouldn't be just me. McDonald's will be open as well. McDonald's there is 24 hours. McDonald's, yeah, there is 24 hours, and they kind of similarly offer what I'm offering because they're open to customers and they still offer delivery as well. We just sell different foods and, just, yeah.
That's the end of the submissions from the applicant and the objectors, and I would going to do a little letter, right? We're going to withdraw and ask you to withdraw now, and we will do a written letter of the decision within 5 working days. Thank you for attending. Sorry.
Thank you. No, I just said thank you.
Thank you. That's great. Thank you very much. Okay, welcome and thank you everybody for attending this morning's licensing hearing panel. And I would ask the Assistant Licensing Manager, Katie, to present the case, please.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning. On the 7th of April 2025, we received a new premises licence application for Best Food Centre, 15 to 19 New Road, Chatham. An appendix of the Cumulative Impact Assessment called Chatham High Street can be found as Appendix A of this report. It is attached for information as the premises is located within this designated area. This can be found on pages 47 to 49. The application is for the sale by retail of alcohols off sales only, daily between 8 AM and midnight. The application includes the operating schedule, which details the conditions the applicant is offering to promote the licensing objectives. A copy of the application, the proposed conditions and plan can be found at Appendix B on pages 51 to 67. During the consultation period, we received 3 representations. We received a representation from Public Health on the 30th of April. This was in relation to 2 of the licensing objectives, the prevention of crime and disorder and the prevention of public nuisance. This can be found at Appendix C on pages 69 to 83. We received a representation from Kent Police on the 1st of May. This was in relation to 2 of the licensing objectives. Yet again, the prevention of crime and disorder and the prevention of public nuisance. This can be found at Appendix D on pages 85 to 86. We received a representation from a member of the public. This can be found at Appendix E on pages 87 to 89. It's for the panel to decide on the appropriate action for this application, taking into account all the evidence brought to your attention, both written and oral, alongside the Licensing Act 2003 and its associated guidance. The panel can decide to grant the licence as applied for, amend the application, for example, changing the hours, add or amend conditions, refuse the application. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Katie. Now ask the applicant or their representatives to speak in support of their application, please.
Sorry, can I say again?
It's your chance to speak in support of your application, so tell us why you think we should grant your application.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. Okay, that is actually Best Fruit Center I opened newly, which is just started last year. And I'm using now is just a corner shop and selling like a cash and carry all the soft drink and everything. But people are asking alcohol, which is a lot of local, very good local residential. They come and ask me for the alcohol, plus the hotel upstairs. Every day people come in, which is our business people and a visitor for from the sometime out of country. A lot of European people come in, plus the lot of worker people coming from other town to stay in Medway, and they're asking for alcohol as well. And I thought is a community, especially I like to serve the community, which is sorry to say, because I serve alcohol in Clifford as well last about 22 years, I think so nearly, since from 2002 to until 2024. I have alcohol license in Cliff Spice in Clifford, and I running, which is very goodly. Same is here. I thought I can serve the community peoples to alcohol. A lot of local people, they are asking, keep asking, and I think so. I can give you more people work as well. When I open alcohol, will be more busy, and I can get more job I can take as well, which is I got already 3 people work for me in that place. Soon as I go alcohol license, I thought I can get another 2 or 3 peoples, which is that is quite passing people in New Road, quite busy, very busy road, passing a lot of car and thing. But honestly, is local people, community people keep asking when I'm getting a license. that's why I applied for license. And obviously, I'm the businessman since from last 35 years. I'm doing some several business I have in Medway. Before I was in Hastings, and I'm actually, you can think you can see my histories. I'm even selling before alcohol. I had no problem, and I can manage nicely, and I can serve good people, which is I thought, please, if you allow me selling alcohol, which is good for community and all the other locals. And there is already some off licenses Medway, and even in one in New Road as well, which is a SO garage. There is no problem, to be honest, because I there do still business nearly 1 year, which is 9 months. Sorry, I never see any problem here, any drunk people or nothing in New Road especially. And I thought it's better if you please allow me, then I can serve community peoples and other whoever, even tourists and a lot of businessmen coming to the hotel as well. They keep asking. Anyway, thank you so much. If it's anything I had, and my English policy is not very good, but I've never been a panel meeting like that. It's first time in my, so I'm a little bit nervous as well. Thank you so much. Sorry about that.
No, thank you very much. And now we've got the opportunity for the objectors to set out their case. Who's going to start? Oh, sorry, yeah. Sorry about that, Barbara. Do you want to start with the questions, or do you want to start, Andre?
Chair, if I may, I have a question. Thank you. So, you said that there was an establishment just up the road which caused no problems at all. Are you aware of how many alcohol-related crimes or instances there have been there within the last 5 months or so?
Is in New Road in my area?
Specifically your area, New Road. Are you aware of how many alcohol-related instances there have been specifically in your area within the last 5 months?
To be honest, no. I don't know many.
Would you be surprised if I said that there were 18 specific alcohol-related instances or crime a stone's throw away from your premises?
So from my premises?
Not very far from your shop.
Oh, I see.
Do you know that that's the case?
To be honest, no.
Sorry, it's a bit of a trick question. I don't mean to trip you up, but that's the case, Chair. Sorry, thank you. I'm finished, thank you.
Thank you, PC Smith. Now, can I ask Barbara Murray, please, to ask her question?
I've got
the
questions for
objectors
the
have.
applicant, if I could. Yes? Thank you. Hello, I'm Barbara Murray from Public Health at the Council. Can you tell me what the licensing objectives are, please?
Sorry, I didn't get it.
Can you tell me what the 4 licensing objectives are, please?
I think what she means is, can you tell us why we give a license and the objectives that we are trying to maintain by being licensed? Otherwise, what's the point? So what she's asking is, there are 4 objectives, licensing objectives, and Barbara would like to know what they are. And as you've already had licenses in other areas, the licensing objectives will be the same. So maybe you can tell us what they are?
Sorry, but what I said license I have before, because now I'm not running other one, which is, I said I got license, I hold it before, which is a Cliffy Spice in Cliffwood, but I don't own anymore that one. And now I'm looking for New Road one, which is a new shop I'm running, And I thought, maybe I didn't get it. Like say now I just want to add one question for the officer. They say is 18 happening already in New Road.
You can come back on that in the later ones when you can ask them questions.
Yeah.
But Barbara has asked a question. What are the 4 licensing objectives? These are the same, irrespective of whether it's in Rochester, Chatham, Gillingham, or wherever the license is. The licensing objectives are the same. You know, they're about. Barbara's about the protection of public. So it's about how these objectives support the protection of the public.
To be honest, that word maybe I don't understand.
Okay, if you don't know, that's fine.
Then,
That's
yeah,
perfectly
to be honest.
legitimate. Okay then.
We need to adjourn this meeting for, 10 minutes? 5 minutes. So Everybody, welcome back. I understand that the applicant might wish to call for an adjournment of this hearing so that he can bring a representative or an interpreter. He doesn't understand the technical stuff that we're asking. Thank you.
Yes, just to assist the panel, that, as I understand it, is the applicant's application for this matter to be adjourned so that he can acquire support via an interpreter due to not understanding more of the complex specialist language today. It's of course a matter now for the objectors to raise any representations they wish to about that, and then for the panel to make a decision.
None from Kent Police?
No, I'm quite happy with that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think with no objections and a request, do we need to consider in private or just go with it? I think Councillor Hawker-Scott said it. In the spirit of natural justice, we adjourn and allow you to come back with a representative or an interpreter.